to Healing Horizons, the space where science meets soul and where every symptom tells a story. I'm your host, Pragya, and today we are joined by someone who's reimagining the way we understand health for both animals and ourselves. Dr. Jeff Feinman is a veterinarian, molecular biologist, and the visionary behind holistic actions. But more than that, he is a guide, helping us shift from fighting symptoms to listening to them. What if illness wasn't the enemy? What if symptoms were your body or your beloved pet's body trying to help you? In this episode, we will explore how surrendering to the body's signals can unlock balance, resilience, and deeper alignment. Whether you are a devoted pet parent or navigating your own healing path, prepare to have your perspective turned inside out in the best way. This conversation isn't just about medicine, it's about remembering the intelligence of life itself. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Thank you so much for having me, Pragya. It's a pleasure and honor, and just so glad to be here. Thank you.
Yes. Jeff, you talk about surrendering to symptoms rather than fighting them. What inspired this approach and how has it reshaped your relationship with healing?
Thank you for asking. What inspired it was my own health journey, which started with some very scary symptoms back in 1975. Pretty much every day since then, I've had one or more scary symptoms, and over the decades, it's what now, 25, 50 years. So 50 years, I've learned and seen many different ways of dealing with symptoms, investigating them further, using drugs against them, or working with them and our body's ability to heal by surrendering and trusting the healing ability of the body and the universe. And what we've determined and what we teach it at Holistic Actions and what my book, Path to Pet Wellness, is all about is that those symptoms are a silent SOS from our pets trying to help us heal them. And symptoms are our guides, as you said, to how we can help them heal. And I've learned that through my own health journey and by serving animals and by doing basic research as well.
Also, in what ways have you seen this shift affect pet parents or even your own life?
The most frequent thing I see with pet parents is moving from a state of fear and not knowing what to do based on their animal symptoms or scary symptoms that they see in their animals or themselves, moving from that place of fear and anxiety to a place of calmness, serenity, trust, and surrender. And it's similar to surrendering to the natural laws in any other way. When we take a breath, we're not worried that, our atmosphere is not going to support us with oxygen. We're not concerned that the beams of ray of the sun is not going to help us generate our own energy and warmth, but we trust that those things are there support us, the way our animals' bodies are, the way our own bodies are, the way all living beings, actually, the way all animate and animate beings are. Because we are all imbued with a vitality, life force that guides.
So true, so true. Rightly said. And yeah, love that. Um, Also, how do you define living in alignment? And why does that reduce the risk of chronic illness for pets and also for people? How do you define it?
That's a great question because that may be the most important thing that we can talk about. I'll define it in the terms of improv. Improv comedy is based on just say yes and rather than no, but we say yes and. That is a way of aligning with life by saying, yes, I understand these symptoms are clues to what's going on in the body, and what else can I do to work with those symptoms and understand those symptoms? And that is the essence of, of alignment, of aligning with the moment, aligning with the now. You know, Eckhart Tolle says, come to your senses, meaning that don't base our existence on our minds patterns about what we're worried about the future, we're worried about the past, rather focus on what's happening at this moment by feeling, by smelling, by looking around, by breathing. And our animals naturally live in that space at all times so they can actually help us come into the present moment.
And I like how you mentioned that we often think more about future and the past, but stop, realizing things in the present. Um, um, Also, what do you think are some small daily cues that show someone may be out of alignment with their natural rhythms, and what just makes us make that difference?
Well, being out of alignment is most commonly felt as a feeling of dis-ease, or being in alignment is that sense of ease, that sense of happiness, of joy, of love. And when we feel the opposite, when we feel anxious or fearful or mad, we are out of alignment, because when we are in alignment, we are in love. And love is that sense that we are all connected. Love is seeing your own self in your animals, in other people, in life itself.
Hmm, right. Okay. We often talk about holistic actions and holistic developments, right? So, holistic actions, it basically blends science with spirit. How do you keep that balance in energy based guidance with conventional medical training?
That's a difficult thing to do, and unfortunately, it's growing in popularity. But it's because it is so hard. It is not something that we see frequently. The way I keep it in my mind is by my background, by my history, by years and years and decades of observation, and by realizing that we're all talking about the same thing, whether it's in math, whether it's in physics, whether it's in molecular biology, whether it's in health and healing, by not discounting any of those little pieces, we're able to integrate them as a whole. So we need to look at math, physics, breathing, and prayer and meditation all in one holistic continuum. And that's why, I spell holistic with the W. WHOLE is the root of holistic. It's a
Hmm.
whole.
So beautiful how you mentioned how you consider it um, WHO and not just H. So impressive. And okay, so we often see that everybody, whatever they do, they somehow and from somewhere, no matter how much they are doing into a field, they get that criticism and that resistance. Okay, so have you faced that resistance in the veterinary world, and how do you respond to that?
I do face that resistance, and especially, the parents that I work with face that resistance. And we deal with it very simply, and that is by showing you that this works. That's it. Our eyes, our mind, our veterinarians, our doctors are most convinced by what works. They say what's rational is what works. So when you take a dog, well, I'll give you an example of myself. I had severe Lyme symptoms. Lyme disease is the tick-borne disease here in the U.S. And I happened to be right down the road from Lyme, Connecticut, and I had a very bad case of Lyme disease that was treated 100% with mindset and homeopathy. So meaning that no antibiotics, nothing to offset Lyme in a conventional way. But within a couple days, I was back to normal. And the way I convinced my doctor, who thought I was crazy when I said I had Lyme disease, even though I saw the tick bite and I got the rash and I had a blood test. I went to the doctor with all this evidence, and when he saw the blood test result, he saw the fact that I was fully recovered. He was convinced that you can treat Lyme more naturally, and that is the case for pretty much any disease that we see in animals or people. That's going to be topic actually for there's a conventional medical school nearby here at the University of Connecticut, and they're going to be having a conference in October about the miracle of homeopathy integrating into modern medicine. And that is what's going to be the most convincing to my colleagues and other people. We begin to see the results of doing that.
Also, I actually believe what you told, and it also depends on how we trust the process. It's actually on it, and great that you take it that way and not just keep it within your heart and just let it ruin more of what you want to do. That is actually inspiring and so great. We have, as you mentioned, that you have written this book, Path to Pet Wellness. So, your upcoming book, it explores transformation through conscious care. Can you give us a sneak peek of the most surprising insight that it offers, and what transformation have you gone through in writing it?
Well, I will say that within a couple days we are gonna release beginning of the book to release the first 20 pages, which is gonna kind of summarize a lot of what we're talking about. So anyone that wants to be on the book wait list, will be able to grab those those 20 pages. As far as the most important thing that I think I've learned is again what I mentioned before, that our animals are signaling to us a silent SOS. That SOS is how to restore their ease, because we consider them to be diseased. And that SOS is signified by significance of symptoms, as we just discussed, but also, and most even as importantly, by the signs of susceptibility. The SOS of the signs of susceptibility will guide us in a path to make them more resilient. My own transformation is one of resilience, one of following the same path that we're talking about in the book and becoming more and more resilient. Before I turned 50, I was pretty sure that I was not even going to make it to 60. And now that I'm well in my 60s, I can't wait till my 90s. And that's the transformation that I would like to share with everyone.
That is a real and that is a really big transformation that we make. Often we just overlook how all of these small things they mean a lot and they really, really turn us into a whole different person and our perspectives change. So beautifully you put it through. And for someone who is listening today, whether they are caring for a pet or on their own healing journey, um, what is the very first question they should ask when a symptom shows up?
The very first question when an abnormal symptom shows up is why? What is the context? Why could this be happening? Could my animal be exhibiting fear or anxiety because we just had an argument in the house? Might they be having eye discharge because it's spring and they're manifesting an allergic imbalance? So the first thing I would ask is why? And what we say every day in holistic actions, that it depends. Whenever we see a symptom, whenever we're asked the question, the answer is always, it depends. And it depends on the context. So, what is the context in which the symptom exists?
Hmm. hmm. Um, right. Also, that is a very apt question to, ask first of all. Jeff, thank you for reminding us that symptoms aren't meant to be silenced, they are meant to be witnessed. Also, to everyone listening, trust the whispers before they become screams. You are not broken, you are being called back into balance. This is Healing Horizons, where science meets soul. Signing off as your host. Until next time, honor the wisdom within.
Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you.